Tell me about your vision.
Um, so my vision has a couple pieces to it.
And I'm
Um,
willing to hear. Yes, I love
yeah,
it.
obviously, as a social worker, we're raised or trained in a sort of broader system approach.
Yes.
And despite the fact that obviously each person is important, um, and you can do a lot of one-on-one work that's amazing,
Mhm.
um, it's harder to think on a macro scale.
Yes.
And yet you want to have the most impact that you can, right?
Yeah.
Um, and so for me, it's been a certain process right now of transitioning from running a business and doing a lot of individual work to expanding to a greater audience. Um, and so that's one of the reasons I'm on the podcast. I'm releasing a book, I'm speaking, I'm trying to reach a broader audience. And my audience in particular actually isn't teens. My audience is parents,
Absolutely.
because that's really where the change is going to happen.
Yeah.
And parents are very much uneducated and very much inexperienced. So for me, my vision is to bring that experience to the masses. An example, just like a small example, like you mentioned when you talk about Palm Pilots and the Nokias, and like parents aren't up to date.
Mm.
And as much as you try to get up to date, you're still years behind, right? If you
Yes.
talk about proxy servers today, parents still don't know what that is, but that's already from 2010.
Yes.
And so, now there's a dark web, there's a million things you have to catch up on, and you'll
Yeah.
never catch up. But as much education as you can provide to parents as to how to go about it, I think is really where you can make much broader change than on an individual level. And so that's what my approach has been. That's my vision.
I love that. And that was my next question. What's your goal for being on the podcast, on the show today? And I understand that. And I realize that we're now able to use this tool that we were forced to use in COVID as a tool to get on a macro scale. I truly, truly love the fact that you said I'm not talking to the teens right now. See, so I don't have to have you in my office. I don't have to, tell the teenager I'm going to bring your parents in. I could talk to you on a way bigger scale right now. I'm
Right.
telling the world about this. And I get goosebumps because at the end of the day, I want our teenagers to accidentally turn on this podcast. I want them to accidentally run across Mindy Barron. I want them to do those kind of things because as they keep going and as they keep scrolling, I want them to accidentally begin to focus that there is a reason to live.
Sure.
There is
Absolutely.
a reason to survive. There is a reason why we go through the hard things in life. And that's because I know and I would call it something different, but often said, what doesn't kill us makes us stronger.
Sure.
But with that being said, nothing really has to kill us, but everything should make us stronger. So go ahead, go ahead.
No, no, you're 100% right about that. And that's what our kids are lacking today. When you talk about, you know, making you stronger, you have to have a goal. Like you said, vision. Our kids don't have that vision.
No.
Back in the day, you were going to work somewhere, you were an apprentice, you were in the military, you worked for family, you worked whatever it was. You
Yes.
weren't sitting around. There wasn't social media, and you kind of knew where you were headed. Even when you went to college, you kind of knew where you were headed. Our
Yes.
kids are going to college with no idea what they want to do,
Yeah.
and they're coming back home and moving back in after wasting 2, 3 years. And so if you don't have a goal, if you don't have a passion, if you don't have a focus, I mean, what is there, right? And
Yeah.
so part of working with teens is help them find their passions. One thing I tell parents, like find what they like and drill in,
Yes.
because
Yes.
if you like what you do, you never work a day in your life, right? That's you really
Absolutely.
want to capture that. So you're 100% correct.
So with that being said, because we are Vision Pros Live and we're talking about vision, I heard yours. How or what question could a teen ask themselves to see if they even have a vision? So if somebody was a fly on the wall right now, a listener who was a teenager that's like, I don't know if I want to go to college. I don't know what I want to do in life. I don't even know what vision means. What would you want them to hear to figure that out?
So the one thing that I always preach is don't fear failure. So you should be willing to try a number of things. A lot
Yes.
of kids fear is like, if I embrace this and I'm not sure what it is, and that's it, right? If I go to
Yes.
college for veterinary medicine because I was intrigued and I don't like it, well, now I'm in trouble, right?
Yeah.
But the idea is that it's okay to try a bunch of different things. In fact, there's so much we don't know, right?
Yeah.
You only know 10 jobs. There's like a million more jobs out there that one or two of them may click with you. Or what you're doing now you don't think could be a career, but here's how it could be a career.
Yeah.
Right. So it's really that fear of like taking the next step because I might fail, I might get stuck in it, and there's embarrassment, my parents will be upset. If you don't fear failure and you focus forward, then you can try something till it works.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
fear failure, you try it, it doesn't work, you're toast. And so that's really what it's about. And the second thing is, okay, so how do I find what I want to do? Well, Google's a powerful tool, and
Yes.
there are hundreds, if not thousands, of jobs out there that they have not seen. And Google it. Okay, cool. This job, I didn't know that existed. Maybe I can go visit and ask them some questions, or
Mhm.
intern here, or check this out. There's just things that people don't know. And some really cool jobs, that
Yeah.
people have no idea about. So it's really about not fearing failure and being willing to try.
I love that. I love that. And if you're listening, do not feel failure. I tell you, Google that too. How many people that are successful that failed? How many times have they failed? Of course, I cannot tell you who it is, but I'm telling you that it'll come up like crazy. And then they would definitely really see like it takes failure to reach a level of success that you desire to. And so, with being aware of your time and truly appreciating you being on here, I always have one favorite question. What are the greatest joys of what you do?
Okay, so that's also, you have a lot of good questions. I mean, the joy of what I do is a couple pieces. One, obviously, like I mentioned, seeing the results.
Yeah,
Two is seeing parents and that sense of relief when they have guidance,
absolutely.
right? That sense of shame and guilt that they have coming in and then walking away empowered. It's
Mhm.
really, really, it drives a lot of satisfaction. And third is the challenge. I mean, part of this for therapists, a lot of them get into it because they have their own issues to work through, and
Yeah,
a lot of times they get too attached and they burn out. But if you're able to really be well trained and keep boundaries, it's a challenge to
yeah,
navigate family pieces and make things work and come up with ideas and really strategize. That in and of itself is rewarding, and really helps you keep a long career, right? If it's intellectually stimulating, and if it isn't rote and you're not just listening to people talk, right? If you're really doing work, it is truly stimulating. So those are kind of three of the joys of what I do.
Thank you for being here today. I'm really happy that you tuned in to Vision Pros Live. I'm looking forward to seeing your reactions as these episodes continue to move forward. This is going to get more and more fun. We'll have more and more engagement as well. We'll invite people to participate in the show. And thank you for giving us your time and attention. Have an excellent time building out your vision and becoming a Vision Pro yourself.